Morning, guys. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice and screen. You are attending in online. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice and screen. You are attending in online. Right. Right, sir. So we are discussing the differences between Java and others. The part we are discussing. Inside the differences between Java and others. So we are completing almost all two differences we completed. But out of these two differences, the first one is C and C++ are static programming languages, but Java is a dynamic programming language. Okay, fine. For some reasons already I explained the reasons then we have to understand it. That's it. Then after that. Second point I discussed yesterday in the last session. Preprocessor is required in C and C++, but preprocessor is not required in Java. Right, sir. Then about this preprocessor, we had some discussion on it. Well, the location of the preprocessor is set to you. I've given a diagram. In the diagram, location of the preprocessor is one of the component in compilation process. Preprocessing is the first phase of the compilation. In C and C++, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of header files. What are these header files actually? Studyable.h, conny.h, math.h, and so on. In C and C++ applications, if you want to use predefined library, then we have to include header files. For this, we have to use hash include statement. Hash include stdio.h, hash include conny.h, hash include math.h. If you perform compilation on a C program, then preprocessor will perform some actions. What are the various actions? No. First, the preprocessor will recognize hash include statements, and preprocessor will take all the header files names which is provided along with hash include statements. Then preprocessor will check whether this provided header files are exist or not existed in C and C++ software. If the specified header files are not existed, then we will get an error. If the specified header files are existed, then preprocessor will load its content to the memory. So preprocessor will load the content of header files to the memory. So loading library to the memory at the time of compilation is called as static loading. Is called as static loading. Next one. C and C++ required preprocessor to recognize hash include statements in order to load header files content into the memory. Good. But why preprocessor is not required in the case of Java? If you come for this point, your answer is very clear. In Java, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of classes and interfaces in the packages. Example, java.io, java.util, java.sql. If you want to use predefined library in Java applications, then we have to include packages in Java applications. For this, we have to use import statements. Let's see. Import java.io, import java.util.star, import java.sql.star that we provided. Compile Java file, then compiler will perform some actions. Compiler will recognize all import statements, and compiler will take the provided package. Compiler will check whether the provided packages are exist or not in a Java software. If the provided packages are not existed, then compiler will raise an error. Like what is the error? No package XXX not exist. XXX is a package name. Maybe java.io, java.util, java.sql. Good. If the provided packages are existed in Java software, then compiler will not raise any error. And at the same time, compiler will not load any package content to the memory. Good, sir. Notes are given. In Java at runtime, JVM will load the required class and interface of the packages. Loading predefined library at runtime is called as dynamic loading. Good. In Java, compiler is responsible for checking whether the specified package exists or not. Compiler is not responsible for loading, right? JVM is responsible for loading library. Java doesn't require preprocessor. Why? Because in Java, hash include statements and header files are not existed. Alternatively, import statements and packages are existed. Then immediately we got a question: what are the differences between hash include statement and import statement? Examples are given. Observe carefully. One is hash include statements are existed in C and C++, and import statements are existed in Java. Hash include statements are used to include predefined library which are existed in header files. Import statements are used to include predefined library which are existed in packages. Hash include statements are recognized by preprocessor. Import statements are recognized by both the compiler and a JVM. Hash include statements are supporting static loading, whereas import statements are supporting dynamic loading. In a C and C++ applications, single hash include statement can be used to include only one header file. It is not possible to include more than one header file, right? More than one header file by using single hash include statement. If you want to include more than one header file, then we have to use multiple hash include statements. Hash include std.h, hash include conjugate.h, hash include math.h. In Java, by using single import statement, we are able to include more than one class or interface of the same package by using star notation. Import java.io.star. Right, yes. Now, up to this part, we completed in the last sessions. Right? Right. That's fine. Now, today, we are going to see another important topic, important difference between Java and C++. That topic will be, the topic will be C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages. Java is platform independent programming language. As all of you observe carefully, C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages, but Java is platform independent programming language. Right. Before understanding C, C++, Java, platform dependent and platform independent programming languages, before this, first we have to understand when a programming language is platform dependent and when a programming language is platform independent. First, we have to understand it. And what is platform dependent programming language and what is platform independent programming language, that we have to understand. Good. So for this, I'm going to give one direct definition. Try to understand it. Any programming language allows its applications. As observe carefully, important topic. Today, this is very, very important. How C++ was a platform dependent, how Java is platform independent. I'm going to explain to you clearly. But first of all, what is platform dependent programming language? If any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution, compilation and execution on the same operating system, not on different operating system. Any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution on the same operating system, not on different operating system. Then, then that programming language called as platform dependent programming language. The programming language is called as platform dependent programming language. Guys, up to this clearly, what was the definition I've given? It's very simple and very clear definition. If any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution on the same operating systems, not on different operating systems, then that programming language is called as platform dependent programming language. Examples are C and C++, as of now, C and C++. But my question is, yes, definition is okay, example is okay, but how can you say C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages? But how can I say C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages? That's my question. You have to answer for it. Good. Just wait a minute of time. I will explain to you clearly. Listen carefully. I'll take a simple diagram. Through the diagram, I'll explain to you. Try to understand it. For example, I want to take, first of all, let me prepare this diagram as per the definition of the platform dependent. Then after, we'll go for some discussion. So this is my C file. This is like what no dot C. So this dot C, I've written some code. Of course, code, developer understandable code. I've written it. But when we when we when we written this code, if you want to get output, first we have to perform compilation. First we have to perform compilation. First we have to perform compilation. When we perform compilation, come on guys, now tell me, after performing compilation, which files we are able to get now? Which type of file we are able to get? When we compile our C program, then what is the file we are able to get? .exe file we are able to get. File would be .exe file. That's what. But whenever we are getting .exe file, we have to execute this .exe file. We have to execute this .exe file, then we have to go for execution process. Now this is my execution process. Execution process. This is my execution. Good. When we perform this execution, here what we are able to get now, execution process can be performed there. After that, here we are able to get some output. Results we are getting. This is output. Output we are getting. Right, guys. Then after that, guys, and do you have any full form of this .exe? Sai Venki. And do you know that any full form is available for .exe? Exe in the sense executable file, I thought. Any other meaning is available, guys, for this? As per my awareness, I don't know. And I don't know about this. That means I don't think so. There is a meaning abbreviation for exe. I think so. Yes, I thought of it as an executable file. .exe in the sense executable file. I thought. I think so. I don't think so. There is a separate meaning for exe. Guys, any of you knows about it? Any idea? The full form of .exe? Savinki, do you know that? No. Remaining members also not aware, guys. Good. Executable only, I thought. Good. Right, yes, that's fine. Yeah, .obj files also there, but .obj and all these things are not required now. Just I need only .exe file. That's it. .exe file is required. Don't require other files. Answer. Now, compilation and execution, they are the two processes. That's it. Compilation and execution, two processes we have to do. So definitely, if you want to perform compilation and execution, then what we required, definitely operating system is required. Definitely what we required, operating system is required. Without operating system, we can't do anything. So now I need to provide operating system, and here also we operating system. Same or different, we'll decide later on. Good. Now, which operating system we want to use? Alright, now for compilation, I want to use Windows operating system. For example, for compilation purpose, we are using Windows operating system. Tell me guys, now as a C programming language is a platform dependent programming language. As we know the definition of platform dependent programming language at runtime, tell me what operating system we have to use, which operating system we have to use at runtime. As you know the meaning of this platform dependent, and as we are using Windows operating system for compilation, then which operating system here we have to use? Definitely what we require, the same Windows operating system as C programming language is platform dependent programming language. Since the C programming language is platform dependent programming language, we need the same operating system where we perform compilation. Means that compilation and execution both require same operating system as C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages. That's it. Good. But now for a change, for our discussion point of view, or to understand the concept in very much clear, to understand the concepts clearly, I want to change the operating system at runtime. I don't want to use the same operating system what we use for compilation. I want to change the operating system. What will be the operating system we are going to use for this execution? Say for example, I want to use Linux operating system, for example. Linux operating system, for example, I'm using. Yes, all of you listen carefully what I'm telling you. Linux operating system here we are using. Fine, that's it. Now, all of you guys, now tell me what will happen now in this particular scenario, then what exactly the work is going on. Listen, all of you. When we compile C program on Windows operating system, we are getting .exe file. Am I right or not? We are getting .exe file. Definitely, this program will not be executed, I'm sure. But why it is not executed, that's the point I require. So understand carefully. When I compile C program on Windows operating system, we are able to get .exe file. This .exe file contains, what is the code here now? Executable code, mission code. .exe file contains which code now? Executable code. That means like totally mission code, low level code. Good. Now I want to give some clarity on this .exe file. What is this .exe file exactly? What's the meaning of this .exe file? Listen guys, all of you listen carefully. The point what I am telling to you, .exe file contains directly executable code. .exe file contains directly executable code, and 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 it has and it has and it has Windows representations. Has Windows representations internally. Please remember this point. From operating system to operating system, data representation is different. Don't you think same data representation is available in all the operating systems? Definitely, some maybe some memory allocations might be, some the generation of this binary code might be. It's totally different from one operating system to another operating system. This fundamental point you should know. So data representation or conventions are not same in all the operating systems. Definitely, some variation is available on representation of the data from one operating system to another operating system. That is one point you must believe before this point. Good. Now, what I'm telling here, .exe file contains the directly executable code and it has the local operating system representations. It has local operating system representations. What is this local operating system here? In this scenario, Windows. And Windows only we compare this. So Windows operating system representations are generated. So finally here what I'm telling here, this .exe file contains Windows representations. Yeah, this .exe file contains Windows representations. Very clear, you know. Good, good guys. Processor also later we'll talk about it. Now we are thinking about platform independent. Put more concentration. Up to this point, don't leave it, guys. Don't leave it. Now platform, operating system, platform independent, platform dependent. This part still we have to think about. So here we are getting like what now .exe file with the Windows representations. Now let's come for this particular point. All of you know. Tell me, guys. Now execution process we are planning on which operating system? Execution process we are planning on which operating system? Come on, all of you respond for me. Execution. See the diagram and give answers now. I'm asking to you, execution we are planning on which operating system? I didn't decided Windows operating system for execution. I said on which operating system we are planning now. Linux operating system. Good. Who will execute our C program? No, C engine. Who will execute our C program? Actually, C engine. So C engine is available on the Linux operating system. Good. Now tell me, as a C engine is installed on the top of Linux operating system, as a C engine installed on the top of Linux operating system, C engine is able to understand which operating system representations. C engine is able to execute which operating system representations. Come on, guys. It was available on Linux operating system. I don't know why people are saying Windows still. The C engine is available on Linux operating system, so it able to understand which operating system representations now. That's all. C engine is able to execute, understand, execute only local operating system. What is it? Local operating system? No, Linux. Linux operating system representation. Linux operating system representations. Linux operating system representations. The engine is able to execute only Linux operating system representation. All of you observe carefully what I'm telling you. So here the situation is like what now? We compiled our C program on Windows. We are getting .exe file. It has Windows representations. Has Windows representations. But C engine is available on Linux operating system. It required Linux representations. They are providing Windows representations, but C engine required Linux representations. So some gap is coming or not? There's some mismatch is coming or not? Now in this scenario, some mismatch is coming or not? Because of this mismatch, we are unable to execute our program. Because of this mismatch, we are unable to run our program. As all of you are getting clarity up to know, all of you are getting clarity up to know why our program is not executing now. We provided Windows representations .exe file, but C engine required Linux represented .exe file. Linux representations it required, but we are providing Windows represented .exe file, Windows representations, but C engine required Linux representations. So here some mismatch is coming. Because of this mismatch, our program will not be executed. Our program will not be executed. But I want to execute my program here. I want to run my program. If we want to execute our program or if we want to run our program, then what we have to do? If you want to run our program, then what we have to do? Nothing. Very simple. In place of Linux, just remove this Linux. In place of this Linux, what we have to provide, simply we have to provide Windows operating system. In place of Linux, in place of Linux, in place of Linux, we have to provide Windows operating system. Same operating system where we compiled our program. Same operating system where we compiled our program. The same operating system here we have to provide RLs. At compilation, we have to change our operating system from Windows to Linux. Whatever it may be, finally, for compilation and for execution, we have to maintain the same operating system. That's so simple. At runtime, just change this Linux operating system to Windows operating system. Good. If you change Linux operating system to Windows operating system, then what happens here? In place of this Linux, we have to provide Windows. In place of Linux, we have to provide Windows or not. So at a runtime, we have Windows operating system. Good. So if it is a case no, then tell me what happened here no. Now compatibility is coming or not? Just we have to check this point. We compiled our program on Windows operating system. We got .exe file. .exe file contains Windows representations. That's fine. For execution, CIngine is available on Windows operating system. When it is available on Windows operating system, it required Windows representations. So here we are providing Windows representations, and here we are executing Windows representations. Both are compatible. Finally, here we are able to execute our program and we are able to get some output. Here we are able to execute our program and we are able to get some output. That's it. Now, this is the total meaning of like what I'm telling platform dependent programming language. This is like platform dependent programming language. C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages. Guys, all of you are getting clarity how C and C++ are platform dependent. If you understand this, then I'll move forward to platform independent programming language much. Can you confirm to me, guys? All of you know? Right. Getting clarity, what's the meaning of platform dependent? Don't deviate. Whatever the concept I explain up to know, just give confirmation up to know. Then after that, I will go for like what no? Platform independent programming languages. Is it clear to all of you guys? Yes, that's perfect. Good. That's fine. Right, sir. Now, right. For the sake of your understanding, I want to give a small note here. Then let me complete that note. Then after that, I will go for platform independent programming language. Compile C and C++ applications, for example. C and C++ applications. If you compile C and C++ applications, then .exe file will be generated. .exe file generated with the parameters. If you compile C and C++ applications on Windows operating system, then .exe file will be generated with the same Windows operating system representations. With the same Windows operating system representations. If you want to run Windows represented .exe file, if you want to run Windows represented .exe file, then we need a Windows operating system nature called as simply it is called as platform dependent programming language. This nature is platform dependent programming language. That's it. Now this is the total meaning here. You can understand. Next one is what is platform independent programming language? What is the meaning of platform independent programming language? All of you guys, listen carefully. I'm giving definition, straightforward definition, or try to understand it. Any programming language allows its applications perform Compilation, to perform compilation is on one operating system. Compilation is on one operating system, and execution is on other operating system. If any programming language allows its applications to perform, compilation is on one operating system and execution is on another operating system, then the programming language is called as the programming language is called as platform. The programming language is called as platform independent programming language. That's it. Come on, guys. Now try to understand it clearly. If any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation is on one operating system and execution is on another operating system, then that programming language is called as platform independent programming language. Good, guys. Now this is the definition that we understood. Examples, if you observe this, Java as of now, maybe .NET or Python or different examples are available. We don't require that. Now, as of now, the example would be Java. Java is platform independent programming language. That's fine. Now tell me, first of all, now tell me how Java is a platform independent. What is the reason for it? Let's try to put more concentration. This is our record information. This is our record information. Try to put more concentration, all of you know. So a small minute difference is available on the basis of the small minute points. I'm trying to discuss this overall concept. Not put more concentration. Don't deviate. Good. That's fine. For example, I'm taking this Java file. This is my Java program Java file. Right. Once again, I'm telling to all of you guys. Now the time is almost 6:35. The next 15 to 20 minutes of time I need effectively for complete attention is required. Then only you can understand it. So don't deviate. Next 15 to 20 minutes of time. Topic is very important. Try to put more concentration. Don't deviate and don't interrupt me also. I'm going to give very good flow. Now try to understand it. Try to digest the content. So .java file. So whenever we have .java file, we have to compile this program. So I require compilation. I need compilation. When we compile this .java file, definitely we are going to get some file. Guys, all of you listen carefully. Answer for me. In a C and C++, when we compile programs, which files we are getting? Maybe different files are coming. .ai file, .obj file, .exe file, like this. Some different files we are thinking. It's a bit confusion. It's a bit confusion for us. But in the case of Java, no such type of confusion. In the case of Java, only two types of files. Only two types of files. No confusion. Only two types of files. What are the two types of files? So before compilation .java, after compilation, compiler will generate .exe, sorry, .class file. After compilation, .class file. So in the case of C and C++, majorly we have taken .exe file, but in the case of Java, only we have one alternative. That alternative is what? .class files. The alternative is what? .class files. Good. When we are having .class file, what about the next one? As per the platform independent programming language definition, as per this definition, one time if we compile this program, then we have to execute the same program in multiple operating systems. That's the nature of the platform independent. So that's why here I want to execute the same program in multiple operating systems. Then how it is possible, how we are able to do this? Now I have to go for this one-time execution. One-time execution here I want to perform. Then we want to get some output. Okay, one-time execution here we want to perform. Then after that we want to get some output. So let's observe this clearly. And this will be output. Here we are able to get, as all of you observe carefully, execution. This is execution. Right. So then one-time execution here we have to perform. Put more concentration. Here itself I am going to give some conclusions. For comparison, one operating system is required. For execution also we required another operating system. This is one time. Similarly, how many times we have to run our program there? Multiple times here we have to run our program. Multiple times we have to run our program. So this is another time execution law. Next one is what? This is another time execution. And this is what? Another time execution. Like this, 4 times I want to execute my program on multiple operating systems. Now I want to confirm operating systems. No. For compilation, I want to use Windows operating system. For one-time execution, I want to use Linux operating system. At another time, I want to use Linux operating system. At another time, I want to use Mac. At another time, again, I want to use the same Windows operating system. Different operating systems are taken. Linux, Mac, and Windows operating systems can be used. Good. That's fine. Now, observe carefully. Comparison is going on Windows operating system. Execution is going on Linux, Unix, and Mac and Windows. If it is going on successfully, if it is going on, that's fine. Java programming language is a platform independent programming language. The diagram is representing clearly Java programming language is platform independent programming language. That's it, not more than that. This is a conclusion here. Right, guys, that's fine. This is platform independent programming language. After that, after understanding this particular point, what next one here I'm telling you, how it is platform independent. What is the reason why the Java is a platform independent? Because of what reason? It's a platform independent. Now I will talk much more clearly. Now try to understand it. When we compile Java program on Windows operating system, here we are able to get some .class file. Previously we understood .exe file that we know. Previously we understood .exe file which contains directly executable code and it has local operating system representations like Windows operating system that we know. Now, what is .class file? What is the nature of the .class file? So this point here we have to understand. Listen, guys. So the nature of the .class file I'm telling to you. .class file contains bytecode. One, guys, .class file contains bytecode. .class file contains bytecode. Okay. What is this bytecode actually? What is bytecode? It is not directly executable code. It is not directly executable code. If it is not directly executable code, then what is this code? It is an intermediate code. An intermediate code. It is not a source code. At the same time, it is not executable code. It is an intermediate code. Okay, good. It is an intermediate code that I understood. And it is an intermediate code. And it has it is not having and not having it is not having any operating system representations. Remember this, it is not having any operating system representations including Windows. Even though we compiled our Java file on Windows operating system, but the generated .class file doesn't have Windows representations. Right? It is not having any operating system representations. This use a neutral bytecode and is an intermediate bytecode. It is not source code and it is not executable code. It's a neutral bytecode to the all operating systems. It doesn't have any of the operating system representations. It's an intermediate code. It's not like completely executable code, and at the same time, it is not source code. It's an intermediate portion. So that was generated by like a Java programming language after compilation of our program. Guys, please respond for me. All of you are getting clarity up to know. All of you are getting clarity up to know. Please respond for me. No response. Good. Now I'm going to start our story. Put more concentration. Maintain the same tempo. Then we will understand clearly each and every point. Right, guys. Now all of you understand it now. Right. So now this is a story about this dot class file. Please remember this. In the future, I will ask a question to you. Can you tell me what exactly the difference between .exe file and a .class file? This question I will ask them in the future. For time being, we have to understand it clearly. .class files, situation here, I'm telling to you. Right? Good. All right, sir. All of you, listen carefully. All of you know. I want to execute this .class file on Linux. I want to execute this .class file on Unix. I want to run this .class file on Mac. I want to run this .class file on Windows. This is the situation. If you want to run this .class file on Linux now, the bytecode which is there inside this .class file must have Linux representations. If you want to run this .class file on Unix, this bytecode must have Unix representations. If you want to run this .class file on Mac, bytecode must have Mac representations. Again, the same way, similarly, if you want to execute this .class file on Windows, this .class file must have Windows representations. Yes, understand it now. If you want to run this .class file on any of the operating system, that .class file code, that bytecode must have the respective operating system representations. Then only it is possible to execute. But what about my bytecode? What about our .class file? Our .class files are having which representations? This .class file contains no operating system representations. It's an intermediate code and it is not having any operating system representations, including Windows. Even if we compile on Windows operating system, the generated .class file doesn't include Windows representations. It's a neutral bytecode. It's an intermediate code. It's not representing any of the operating system representations. But if you want to run this bytecode on any of the operating system, it must have the target operating system representations. But as of now, it's not having any operating system representations. Now again, here we are getting some mismatch or not. Almost similar to C and C++. Some mismatch here we are getting or not. Come on guys, I'm asking this question to you. Again, we are getting some mismatch or not. No response. Here we are getting some mismatch or not. This is an intermediate code. It's not executable code. It doesn't have any of the operating system representations. But if you want to run it on Linux, it must have Linux representations. If you want to run it on Unix, it must have Unix representations. If you want to run it on Mac, Mac representations. If you want to run it on Windows, Windows representations. So here again, here we are getting some mismatch. We are unable to execute this neutral bytecode on any of the operating systems. Exactly in this particular situation. Exactly in this particular situation, to make Java is platform independent programming language and to execute Java programs on multiple operating systems, to make Java is platform independent programming language, to execute this Java program on multiple operating systems, Sun Microsystems has provided a conversion mechanism. Sun Microsystems has provided some translators or some converters. Sun Microsystems has provided some converters. Some converters are provided by Sun Microsystems. That's it. Exactly. Now here converters are provided by Sun Microsystems. Just observe carefully. Observe carefully. This is one converter. This is one converter. And this is one converter. And this is one converter. Converters are provided by some microsystems. converters or translators, whatever it may be. Yes, I'm saying the word converter. I think it is a translator also, translation also. Conversion and translation both are same now. Here in this context, you can use any term, no problem. Conversions. Good guys. Now, what is the job of this converter scale? What is the job of the converter scale? What exactly the job of the converter scale? Observe carefully. The job of the converter is converter will take neutral bytecode as an input. Whatever the bytecode you are providing, neutral bytecode as an input. That neutral bytecode will be converted to Linux representations, and that Linux representations will be given to execution. Then that code will be executed. Then we are able to get some output. The job of the converter is to convert our bytecode from neutral nature to Linux representations. Good. Then what is the job of this converter? It able to take the neutral bytecode as an input. It will convert that neutral bytecode into Unix representations. The Unix representations will be given to execution. Now execution will be performed on the Unix represented bytecode and outputs here we are getting. Then what is the job of this converter? It will take neutral bytecode as an input. It will convert this neutral bytecode into MAC representations and supplying that MAC representations to execution process. Then execution will be there on MAC represented code and we are able to get some output. Similarly, the job of this converter is takes the neutral bytecode as an input, converting that neutral bytecode to Windows representations. That Windows represented bytecode will be executed here at Windows. Then finally we are able to get some output. Good. So here conversion mechanisms are provided. These conversion mechanisms are taking neutral bytecode as an input and converting that neutral bytecode into local operating system representations. The code, the bytecode which is representing local operating system representations, which has local operating system representations, is called as native code. The bytecode which is converted to the operating system representations is called as native code, executable code now. That bytecode is converted as native code. That bytecode is called as what now? Executable code. Now the programs are going to be executed, then we are able to get some output. But here the question is, how these converters are provided by Sun Microsystems? Where these converters are provided by Sun Microsystems? How we are able to get these converters in our situation? Right. If you think about this point, answer is very clear. Sun Microsystems has provided these converters. Sun Microsystems has provided these converters along with execution in a single device. Sun Microsystems has provided these conversions along with a single machine, along with execution in a single machine. That means Sun Microsystems has provided conversion and as well as execution both in a single device, in a single component. Sun Microsystems has provided this conversion mechanism and execution mechanism in a single component. In a single component, Sun Microsystems has provided this conversion as well as execution. Exactly. Now the single component, the single device is called as JVM. The single component is called as JVM. JVM. That's it. Here JVM and here also be JVM. Right, sir. Then what is the abbreviation for JVM, guys? What exactly the abbreviation for JVM? Any idea? What is that abbreviation for JVM? Think of which abbreviation for JVM is what? Java Virtual Machine. Java Virtual Machine. Everybody has to understand it. What I'm telling you, it's a Java Virtual Machine. Good, sir. So this is like conversion and this is like execution, but both are going to be provided in a single device. That single device is nothing but what? It's a JVM, Java Virtual Machine. That's it. I'll have to understand it clearly what I'm telling you. Now, next one is good. Now I'm asking one question to all of you guys. Now try to answer for it. I'm asking one simple question to all of you. Now try to answer for it. In this total picture, in this diagram, how many times we compiled our Java program? How many times we compiled our Java program? How many times we compiled our Java program? Only one time. Good, perfect. How many times we executed our program? How many times we are executing our program, guys? Now, please respond for me. How many times we are executing it now? 4 times we are executing. One time is on Linux, another time is on Unix, another time is on Mac, another time is on Windows. Okay. Compilation we have done on what operating system? Actually, this is compilation that we have done on what operating system? Windows operating system. Good. One time execution is on Linux, another time execution is on Unix, another time execution is on Mac, and another time execution is on like what now? Windows operating system. That's okay, good. But here my requirement is, come on guys, all of you understand it? No. My question is, in this overall 4 times execution, no, how many JVMs here we have used? How many JVMs here we are using? Is it one JVM 4 times or four individual JVMs 4 times? Come on guys, you have to answer for it. Is that one JVM 4 times or four individual JVMs we are using? That answer I required. How many times? That means how many JVMs here we are using to get this one? Everybody has to get answer for it. Is it only one JVM or four JVMs? Is it only one JVM or four JVMs? Right. One JVM or four JVMs? Right. I'm getting mixed response, but majority of the people are saying one JVM, one JVM. Good guys, good. Your answers are related. Anyway, my answer would be what? My answer would be four JVMs, four different JVMs. My answer would be four JVMs. It's not like one JVM, four JVMs. It's not like one JVM. It would be like four JVMs, four different JVMs. Why? Because I'm not giving this statement blindly. Why? Because there is a reason. You have to observe this reason. What is that reason exactly? The reason would be, listen guys, the reason would be Java is a platform, Java is a platform, independent programming language. Java is platform independent programming language because of JVMs only. Java is a platform independent programming language because of JVMs only. But JVM is platform dependent. But JVM is platform dependent. Come on, guys. Now you have to digest this one. Most of the people, what they are thinking, no, Java is a platform independent. Part of the Java only JVM is available. So JVM is what? Platform dependent. People are thinking like this. Platform independent. People are thinking like this. But actually, fact is what? Java is a platform independent programming language because of JVMs only. But JVM is what? Platform dependent. JVM is platform dependent. Now observe this diagram clearly. Observe this diagram clearly. We are able to get 1 point here. We are able to get 1 point exactly. Now observe this point clearly now. So here 4 times we are executing our program on four different operating systems here we are trying to execute. It's not like same operating system. It's like different operating systems here we are using. I'll have to understand it clearly now. So whenever we are using different types of operating systems here, we are using different types of operating systems now. Definitely we require different types of JVM. Because JVM is what? Platform independent. That we know already. JVM is what? Platform independent. So definitely here we require different types of operating systems. Right, sir? No. So they are different operating systems. Once they are different operating systems now, then definitely as per our view, automatically different JVMs we require. Good. These are multiple JVMs. They are different JVMs. So because of that reason, what I'm telling you, Java is a platform independent programming language because of JVMs only. But JVM is platform dependent. Why? Because first JVM is Linux based JVM, second base JVM is Unix based JVM, third one is Mac based JVM, and next one is what? Windows based JVM. That's all. So these are the various JVMs that we have to understand it. That's all. Good. Right, guys. Now this is the meaning of like what I'm telling you, platform independent programming language. The nature and Java platform independent. Guys, now tell me, are you getting clarity on this point? No? Are you getting clarity on this? Yes? Yeah. So what is the point I'm telling to you? You may have one question now. What is this question? Sir, how our JVM, that means how Linux JVM is coming to our system, our Unix JVM will come to this system, or Mac JVM is coming to this system, Windows JVM is coming to my system. How, sir? How it is possible? Right. Before going to answer for this question, I'm giving one more point. One more point. What is that point? No. JVM is platform dependent. Java is platform independent programming language. That's okay. Not only that, Java software, what we are downloading from internet and what we are downloading from internet, what we are trying to install Java software. The Java software is also platform dependent. Java software is also be platform dependent. Understand it? Java software is also be what? Platform dependent. So it's not platform independent. Good. Okay, guys, now this is a story. And Venki, Sai Venki, C are static programming languages, Java is dynamic programming language. This is not statically typed and dynamically typed, that is different. C are static programming languages and Java is dynamic programming language that we understood already. I given some reasons also clearly. Is the first difference, what we understood, Sai Venki. Have you attended first class? Yeah, clear cut information I've given regarding this. So you can understand it. Okay. Okay, guys, that's fine for today. Then I'll continue on tomorrow. I'll continue on tomorrow. Tomorrow we will discuss about the remaining part. Then here, I need to go for one interview question, guys. I have to give one interview question. Just this is an assignment to all of you. Try to take this as an assignment. Try to prepare answer for it. What is that question I'm telling you? What are the differences between .exe files and .class file? .class files. What are the differences between .exe files and .class files? So this you have to understand. What are the differences between .exe file and .class file? That's it. Exactly. At the time of installation of the and before going to install your Java software, first know what is your operating system and try to install the corresponding Java software. At the time of installation, at the time of installing your Java software, at the time of downloading your Java software, we should specify and we have to download Java software as per our operating system. So Windows operating system related Java software is available separately. Linux based Java software are available. Identify which operating system is your operating system. Download respective Java software from internet. Corresponding Java software only we have to install in our system. That's the point here we have to understand. Okay, anyway, then this answers and questions here we are going to discuss on tomorrow, guys. Then tomorrow we will go for our content. Guys, please remember one point, one small schedule related point. This Sunday, actually, I need to give holiday for you. This Sunday, I have to give holiday. Guys, please listen one point. Don't send answers now. Tomorrow I will check your answers. I require answers on tomorrow for this question, not now. Please listen carefully. Actually, in the next week, I may take 2 to 3 days gap. Actually, maybe in the next week I may take 2 to 3 days of gap. That's why what I'm telling you. This Sunday I'm planning for the class. Please cooperate with me. This Sunday I'm going to take one session, individual session. I'm going to take this Sunday. Maybe today is Friday. Tomorrow, day of tomorrow, and day of tomorrow, max. I'm going to take one individual session, individual topic. The topic name is also like which one? Steps to prepare Java application. To prepare first Java application. So this topic I want to take, it will take nearly 2 to 2.5 hours of time. It will take nearly 2 to 2.5 hours of time to complete this particular topic. So everybody has to attend for it. Anyway, tomorrow class is available. Then day after tomorrow, on Sunday, I want to take a session. Please prepare yourself to attend for Sunday class also. Max, I'm telling to you. Then without fail, try to attend for it. On Sunday, maybe I'm thinking about the class timing would be 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. or 9:30. 9 or 9:30. 9:30 a.m. IST. This is a schedule. Only on Sunday, this coming Sunday. Why? Because of your benefit and because of my thinking, I may miss out 2 to 3 days of classes maybe in the next week. That's why I'm planning this class on this Sunday. Right, sir. Steps to prepare first Java application. You are going to get very good awareness on how to prepare program, first application on Java, what exactly the setups we require, what we have to do. All these things I'm going to discuss with you guys. So without failure, try to attend for this. Right? Yeah, when this demo link is going to be expired, maybe I'll give that intimation. Tomorrow, I will give that link information also in the same demo link or maybe in another link. How I'm going to take it, I will give information on tomorrow. Right? Okay. Maybe I will discuss about it. Good. Then maybe just I will share this document, guys. Then when I'm going to prepare this, but I will take it. Right. Yes, Jibras, then definitely will get recording for that. No need to worry for this. Yeah, definitely you will get it. Okay, guys, and maybe these steps to prepare first application is going to be happen in the same demo link or maybe in a private link, and tomorrow we'll decide max. I think so. Max it will come in private link maximum. Maybe our office people will take the decision. That is not in my hand. They may, but the schedule I given in my own way. But office people will take the decision. Admin people will take the decision. Same link or private link, but they will take the decision after that. Okay, right this. Sudhanshu, then that's up to you. Just think yourself. There may be a number of videos are available in YouTube. Just you can search Java Nagoor Babu like this. You will get number of YouTube links. That's up to you whether you are going to attend for this session or not, or then that depends on you. Just think yourself now. But my schedule, I'm giving that. Okay. If you have any further queries, just you can talk with your office people, then they will help you to go for this particular one. Right. See, in YouTube might be an introductory classes might be available. Just you can check it. Introductory classes might be existed now. In general, demo class in the sense 1 or 2 classes only. Nobody will provide these many demo classes. But anyway, then we provided. Our admin people are taking this much almost for 1 week of time. They provided these demo classes now. Nice. Anyway, then no force for it. Just try to check it, and as per our interest, we can plan for this process. Yeah, definitely. Jebras, you will get it. Max. Yeah, and every day the same recordings are going on. After completion of this class, within 1 hour, you will get that recordings. Every day after this one class 1 hour, within 1 hour you will get that videos. Right. Good. Thanks a lot. I have one more class now. Thank you. Then tomorrow we'll see that. Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Jibros. Thank you. You will get the videos. Not worry for this immediately, even on Sunday. Yeah. Thanks a lot, and I'll take session, and tomorrow we'll meet. Tomorrow I'll extend the same content. Thanks a lot.